it is a real honor for myself to be here to oversee all the graduates come up. I feel really floored to see so many people moving forward. Uklasish Powa, Kuetzit His Dakshipla Heshbrat O-ish Songis, Uhukwita Umiksu Loretta Charlson, Uhukwita Umiksu George Barker, Uhukwita Umiksatspa Roy O-ish Daisy Hayubis, Uhukwita Umiksatspa Marianne Johnny Reg Barker, or George Barker. I just wanted to introduce myself. I'm Georgina Sutherland of the Heshbrat First Nation. My parents were late Loretta Charlson and George Barker. My grandparents were Roy and Daisy Hayupis. And my grandparents on my father's side were Marianne Johnny and George Barker. I just want to start with an amazing feeling of self-pride. I feel such pleasure being asked to be here today. We often forget how to enjoy ourselves, and I think it's really amazing to see these graduates up here on the floor, and they should feel really proud of themselves because they had to go through 12, maybe plus years of education. And this education system isn't a one cookie cutter shape for everybody. Lots of people had to endure racism, lots of people had to endure sexism and everything else. It's really hard to be a First Nations student in these schools in School District 70 and 84 and going to university. Learning isn't easy for everybody. I was afraid to be successful, and I can tell you, my God, I had to fight sometimes. My mom died when I was 8 years old, and I had to figure out how to be myself and be proud of myself every single day. And I didn't like who I was half of the time when I was looking in the mirror. There were protectors in my life, like my ancestor, Powa, is who I get my traditional name from. My grandparents, Roy and Daisy Hayupis. My late Auntie Cecilia and May Tidian, they used to bring such joy into my life, and my aunties, like my Auntie Jan and my Auntie Faye and Carol, and they were the ones that I really looked up to. They were my strengths and my heart. They kept me alive and they kept me strong. So I will share with you some of my stories of resilience. I was taken from my aunties and put into residential school when I was 2.5 years old. And I can tell you that there were many students that didn't come out of residential school. And that was really traumatizing for me. I saw children getting beat and raped, and some of them were even sterilized so they could never have children when they grew up. It is hard work to be a Nuuchahnulth woman. I used school as my safe place. I used it as an escape. And no matter what the torture I was enduring as a child, I always knew that I was safe in the school. For the time that I was there, I had teachers like Mrs. Rose in grade 1 and grade 2. I actually failed grade 1. And it was, thank God for 8th Avenue Elementary School, that they were so strong in who they were as teachers that they didn't realize what they were forming. Late Eileen, Miss Fun Haggard, she was my Nuuchahnulth education worker. And I am who I am because of her. She's formed a lot of really strong First Nations people. 8th Avenue had a really strong athletic system there, where you could be good at volleyball and basketball, and they could keep you going in music and everything else. And I was really proud to be an 8th Avenue bumblebee at one point in time. I realize now that the brutality that happened to me in my childhood was not my fault. as in every child should know that when they're going through school, that if their parents are getting divorced, or if their parents had died while they were in school, or if their grandfather, that they should know continuously that it's not their fault. Because I see students today as a Nuuchahnulth education worker with children who are fighting in the system to just be alive, just to be strong in who they are, to be proud of themselves. We see children as a Nuuchahnulth education worker that are not proud of their body type, that are not proud of their gender, not proud to be First Nations. I realize that I have to feel the enjoyment of my success. Like I newly installed some murals at ADA7 on Tuesday, and I can tell you I feel so proud because I had such a strong team of Nuuchahnulth education workers that stood beside me, and they kept me really strong. My education team was so amazing. I was really newly rebounding back from losing my father and burying him on Friday. And then I had to go to work on Monday and be okay. I now have the courage to be the voice for Aboriginal students in the schools and to share some stories to give to them the courage to continue to be in a good place in their life. I have to tell those students that they're beautiful, that they belong here. And sometimes the students don't believe me, but I have to keep on trying every single day. I'm on a healing journey that has had a healing journey that has increased intensity in the last 2 years. I have had to endure many, many hardships in my lifetime, losing both my parents, sometimes many of my family, to alcohol and drugs. Alcohol and drugs are here because we haven't dealt with our trauma in our life. You know, I'm only 40 years old and I went to residential school. And I can tell you now that as a mom and I'm trying to raise children and go to university and I'm taking 2 classes at a time to graduate that I started in 2005. And my God, what a hurdle. Being a single mom, a single young First Nations mom. And I had to be proud. And I had to teach my children how to be proud of them too, that they were actually smart. They never believed that they were smart themselves, because I never believed that I was smart. So these are the precious things that we hold close to ourselves. And I can encourage you today as a Nuuchahnulth education worker, as a graduate of my First Nations Studies degree, that you hold your children close to you and you love them every single day. And as they grow older, that your children, they may look like they're older and mature. They may look like adults, but they're not. You still treat them like your child, and you pull them closer to you when they're in high school. It may have taken me 14 years to graduate from my Bachelor's of First Nations Studies. And that saying, Nuuchahnulth it means walk in a good way. Our people, our First Nations people, walk in a real good way. And that they should continue to keep their journey going strong. And I'm watching these children who are getting scholarships in athleticism and their academics, and we have some for Haucha. And I'm really proud of them. That I hope that they keep the momentum going forward. And wow, I can tell you, I feel really proud to be filled in a room with all these First Nations people, just to be proud of who they are. And listening to the Tashot members earlier singing their songs really bring me strength, and all Nuuchahnulth songs do. I'm really proud of my son who continues to walk forward in his Nuuchahnulth identity. He's 14 years old at ADA7. And he's learning how to speak Nuuchahnulth just like I am. I'm a brand new beginner, and I can tell you that my son, he makes some of the best speeches in Nuuchahnulth ever, that I'm really proud of him. And he walks around and he holds his nutjaw straight in the air. You know, we're all strong Indigenous human beings. We all have to find that passion inside of ourselves. And I encourage those who just graduated with their bachelor's to keep moving forward with their education, not to stop there, but to go and continue on for their masters and their PhDs, because we have to lead the way for the next generation. We are not going to stop here, that our people continue to move forward. Thank you very much.